The other point you mentioned is the more politically controversial one, I guess, is this question about inequality, which has been in the news so much. Why should Americans care about inequality per se? And there's been a debate recently about whether inequality really is connected to upward mobility or not. I wonder if you could talk us through the way you think about that.
Sure. I mean, I think the issue with inequality is that you have a combination of a slower growth rate in the typical family's income, an increase in inequality, and a continued low level of mobility. And it's the combination of those three that's so concerning. If you had everyone's incomes rising strongly, but there was some divergence and there was lots of mobility, I think we'd be less worried. We'd still be worried. I think that'd still be something we could do. There's also the question of, if we're not doing everything we can on inequality, are we doing everything to field a full team in terms of what our economy needs to grow, what we need to do in order to draw on the talents of all of our people? And there's a recent report out of the IMF that finds aggregate macroeconomic evidence that backs up that basic proposition that a lot of inclusive policies can also be growth-oriented policies. In terms of the question you said, I think we think all else being equal, more inequality will lead to less relative mobility. In the last couple decades, we've had more inequality. We've probably had about the same level of mobility. First of all, it's a low level of mobility. Second of all, I think that just says that some of our policies have actually been successful in combating that trend, whether it's getting more people into education or reducing discrimination. But I wouldn't count on that continuing to work going forward if we can't tackle the inequality itself.